Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of Surreal Melbourne. Now, before I introduce my esteemed colleague, I would like to first pay homage to this new being that sits to the left of me.
Oh, hi.
Now, behind every great waffle is a greater blade. And this man has been with me since day one. I guess we're joined at the hips or at the bellies. We're conjoined twins. We just happen to be of different skin color. We're not trying to bring race into this, but I just did, so fuck you, motherfuckers.
Milk and chocolate?
Yeah, milk and chocolate, baby. They go well together. So this is like my man, Oreo. Blay. How you doing today, baby?
Hey, man. I'm good, man. It's great to be here, from background hustler into the frame. And, mate, look, it's great, man. And, watching you grow and, get this whole thing off the ground as well with you has been amazing. So I'm absolutely stoked. But, man... We've got a guy here.
We got a guy here.
We got a guy here, man. We got a real guy here.
We got a guy. He's not he's actually my identical twin from Australia. He copied me. He's wearing the hat. I didn't copy him.
I did.
Hang on, but just so they can distinguish us. Okay.
Oh wait. I thought Woodloff was over there.
Oh,
are you Dan?
I'm Dan.
Oh, you're Dan.
I'm Dan.
Oh, hey Dan.
Oh, hi baby.
And I'm Waffles. Hello.
Hey Waffles. So what are you going to interview me about today?
Oh, just life, bro.
Just life.
Let's get real deep.
I got wealth of knowledge. I'm going to drop truth on y'all. So Dan is our guest, and Dan is a interesting individual who co-runs a collective of very talented individuals and artists called Red Moon Tribe. Dan, in your own words, tell us what it is, man. What is Red Moon?
What is Red Moon? Apart from the events and the whole community of it all, I would say Red Moon is more of an ideal, an idea of how we, how we think the best way to go about partying and having a good time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just the, I guess, the word that defines our ethos, if you will.
And why the two words Red Moon? You say it defines the word or the ethos, but why pick those two words to represent the brand?
In all honesty, I wasn't there for the actual creation of Red Moon. But if I'm correct, I believe when they decided to come up with what they wanted to do, there just happened to be a red moon in the sky, and they were just looking at it, and they're like, well,
that seems
kind of Red Moon. It is, yeah.
Yeah, that seems kind of synchronistic.
I wish I had a bit of
some kind of eclipse, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, total eclipse
something
of the
like
heart.
that.
There was one recently.
There was the longest one of some kind of time, I believe. Yeah.
Astronomers were just as astounded as regular humans.
Yeah. Or it was total eclipse of the heart.
A total eclipse of the heart. Oh, that's terrible. Not doing that justice, man. Not doing that. Hey, man, I'm super curious though. You talk about this ethos in running parties. What does that mean for you? What ethos are you talking about?
It's all about, I guess, creating a safe space, a place where you can really just kind of escape from wherever and just be yourself completely, and you try and not have it be driven by ego. You're always there to support each other. It's I don't know, I guess it's just the way we think. It's just how it should be.
Well, yeah, I like that. I like that, man. That's nice. I think it's important to have a safe space of expression for people.
You definitely see that in your events as well. As you guys have the massage tables upstairs at My Aeon. Yeah. You've got
you guys have massage tables.
Yeah, they do yoga. They do yoga before the event as well.
Yeah, it changes from time to time, but we always try and get some kind of mindfulness activity going, whether it's sound healing or yoga. Yeah.
Yoga's awesome, man.
It's good.
I need to get back into it. I was doing Iyengar for a bit. It was good, man. Shavasana is the one.
I actually don't know.
I know. He's
any of the.
we're looking at
I
him
can't even
going,
touch the ground. Like I'm like,
Well, mate,
I'm just the dude at the back, just like quietly setting up while the yoga's like going on. Yeah.
My PE teacher, when I did the sit and reach test, I couldn't even measure on it. She's like, "You're going to have back problems if you don't sort that out." I was just like, "Damn, man, damn."
Yeah, I feel that, man.
But yeah, you know, I just started doing it because I was like, you know, and anyway, Shavasana is when you just like lie down at the end and like get your spine in the, like supported by like a middle rug and you just lie there.
or just fall asleep.
Also known as chilling the fuck out.
like this is the part where you meditate, but I fall asleep.
Yeah.
Man, how long has Red Moon been a thing?
Red Moon started, I think it was January 2018.
Nice.
So what's that? Like 4 years?
Yeah, just about 4. Yep.
Almost 4 years. Yeah. It was started between three guys, Miko, Jeff, and Tariq. Basically, like 3 backpackers loved going to the Breakfast Club every Monday, and just kind of was like, "Fuck it, we just want to throw parties," type thing, and it's now kind of grown into this whole
Roster of
community of creatives type thing, and it's beautiful, bro.
yeah, bros and sisters
and sisters.
yeah, and ones in between. Well, we you know. So you guys have, you know, you've got painters at your show, you've got DJs, you've got producers, you're doing a soundcast as well. You're on SoundCloud, but you know, the brand's really sort of taken off over the years. But where's your sort of role and involvement? Because I know at the moment that's somewhat changed, isn't it? Because Miko's no longer in the country due to COVID, pretty much, right? Like
Pretty much, yeah. Unfortunately,
yeah. But in his absence, and I guess the other partners, how has that transitioned? I guess to like, are you spearheading it right now, or is it just more of a collective that you guys make collective decisions with?
I guess my role at the moment is just to keep it running as smoothly as possible. You know, there's always I'm always looking for input from everyone. We have like this massive chat group of like 250 people in it or something like that.
Yeah.
The Red Moon Tribe chat,
The OG one,
the OG chat. And so like constantly, you know, hitting people up in there. We also have our DJ chat group. So whenever there's like an idea to like run an event, or if we get asked to do collabs, like straight into that chat first.
Yeah.
Get everyone's opinion, and whatever the collective decision is what we go with. And then I guess I'm there to try and make it all happen.
Yeah. So you're sort of serving as the I guess in place director or the main event manager for it in a sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call it like director. Just you know, I'm just
helping.
Hey, don't be so modest, man. You know,
making it tick along, basically.
You can wield power for good. It's okay, man.
It's all very much like a collective effort.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know. But someone needs to be there to stay on top of shit.
Absolutely, you need an arbitrator.
Yeah, pretty much. And you're the guy. I'm happy to be that dude. Yeah.
Yeah. You're our Bruce Willis.
Just not as good looking.
Yeah. No. He's just not as good looking. Let's get it right. So, you know, before I we go into the, I guess the dynamics of running events, because you're also involved in something else called Sixth Sense.
Yep.
As well. And I don't want to quiz you on that yet. So I want to actually get people to know, who is Dan Abel? Who is this guy? And how did you sort of come into this position of actually being, I guess, a promoter, an event organizer, but also a DJ as well? Because I believe you do DJ as well.
I play because I love just playing music that I'm into.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've given DJing like a proper a proper push. To be honest, I've got so many things going on in my life, trying to keep the ship sailing forward.
Yeah.
That it's a bit hard to kind of, like, I'm only human, you know, not a superhuman. So I kind of just directing my energy to where I think matters the most. And I think that's the community and the projects that I have. But through that, you know, I'm fortunate enough to get booked for cool gigs. And so I'm totally happy with that. Like, it's just like the cherry on top in what I'm doing.
It almost always is the case, is like, sometimes you don't get booked purely just for being a DJ, but when you're a mover and a shaker and you create events, I think this is a lesson I try to give to any new DJ, is that, you know, people book you sometimes when you actually create opportunity for yourself, you know?
Totally.
And I think that's the case with any given, like, whether you're in the film industry or whatever, where you're just running a business, and people will give you those opportunities if you create them for yourselves, because they can see that, hey, you're self-driven, you're self-motivated, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
It's like you know, you don't look to get rewarded for things you do. It's like, it's good enough seeing everyone having a good time, but you know, when someone hits you up and it's like, hey, do you want to play this festival, or do you want to play this gig? Like, purely because they've just kind of, I guess, seen what you do and they respect what you do. It's a nice
gesture.
Yeah, you know,
or sentiment. Yeah. Oh, yeah, those definitely have to be internal rewards that you go, okay, you know, yes.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Celebrate inside.
So, I mean, like, you get these opportunities, but where did that begin for you? Like, what was your sort of, where did you kind of go, whoa, I want to invest my time and I love this community? Like, you know, generally for me, that was through partying, obviously, but what were your sort of earlier experiences that led you to where you are now and with the crew of people that you work with?
I started obviously going out when I was 18. Never had a fake ID. Couldn't find anyone that looked like me. So like finally, you know, go out, like turn 18, go to this like shitty nightclub, pretty much get like knocked back for like not wearing the right shoes or whatever it was. I'm just like, this is bullshit. Like there must be something out there. And then started going to like Joel Roth's parties, and then started going to doofs. And it was kind of like then when you really feel the community and you can like completely be yourself, you know, like coming to the country, it's like hard to fit in sometimes. So I just felt like a real sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you know, just all the different aspects of like an event and so many
art installations,
you know,
like
it's
things just going berserk, lasers,
fucking lasers, bro. You know,
Shark.
with like the food and stuff, like the food trucks, like everything, man. And
It's
everyone's
the whole experience. And
people are
it's just
smiling.
literally
Bump into people, have like-minded conversations about artists and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
or you're just talking absolute shit and you're just having a laugh for like 12 hours, you know? But yeah, it was just like, I just truly felt like I belonged somewhere. And yeah, I just really wanted to give back and went to uni to study events.
What was your first festival that you went to here?
My first festival was I think it was Rainbow or Earthcore, one of the two.
Man, Rainbow's the one.
It was full on though.
Yeah,
I must say,
it's so
like,
good though.
I freaked out the first time I saw a heaving dance floor. Like little did I know, like a few
Aussies
years
going
later,
ham.
I would like rock that shit. But like, I remember just being like on the side and just being like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like it was like wild.
A kaleidoscope of outfits,
energy,
just like, energy,
dreadlocks going everywhere.
Oh yeah,
just like whoa,
sprinklers dousing the market stage.
Take me
so
now.
good, yeah. Take me now. Take me back.
Yeah, and that was next level. Hey, like took a while to get into it, but man, when you do, it's liberating as like.
Awesome.
Yeah. Highly recommend. If you're on the edge about it, Doofs is where it's at.
But if you don't like camping, might be battling.
You know, that's funny because that's where most people get put off. Is like they're like, oh, I can't, like I can't do the whole camping in the bush for like 3-4 days. It's like, you know, it's like, I'd rather just go to a hotel room and, you know, get rooms. I was like, you ain't living.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you ain't living here.
It's a different kind of living.
It's just different. I think it's like one of the things I love about going to a festival, like the most thing is like the phone gets to stay in the tent or the car or whatever. And then you actually just get to go and you disconnect, because we're so
Fully
in this consumer technology, and we're always like, you know, we're always tethered to social media or that, because that's a stream of dopamine that we can get and access so easily, when, you know, you can easily just get that going to a festival. And it's just a different experience, man. I think that's the healing part. That's the first thing that it's
fully, bro. It's like genuine connection, you know, like you're still connecting with your friends on your phone and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're just staring at a screen.
Yeah, real life rules.
You know, real fucking life rules, bro.
You got YouTube right in front of you.
It's like real life rules instead of a Doyle. Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
I echo a lot of similar sentiments of what you're saying, though, boys. I'm with you. Yeah, that's nice.
oh, you get one too, baby.
Yes.
Jellyfishing out here. So, all right. So, you know, you go into Bush Toofs now. That's your first sort of early experiences where you're, you know, the festival is breaking you into this world and stuff like that. When at one point did you also start DJing, and where did that sort of come into play that you're like, okay, I want to have a crack at this? Like, how did that sort of evolve into?
I reckon I started DJing before I wanted to get into events. I just thought it was cool as.
Yeah.
You know, they're always wearing like fancy shirts and like, fucking, it was just like cool.
From Paris to Milan.
Yeah.
Models on cocaine.
You know, like missing like 5 buttons, but it was just like, I don't know, it just had like.
Just a bit of chest hair.
Just a cool, out. Yeah, pretty much. And it was just like, had a really cool just vibe. And obviously I love my music. And then I started, like I bought a tractor. Was it like S2, like the most basic bitch type thing? And I was absolutely terrible at it. Like I couldn't crack it. Like I watched all the YouTube videos, but I just couldn't crack it. And it really annoyed me. Like it really, really annoyed me. But I kind of
kept doing it.
Like not really. Like I walked away from it for like years.
Okay.
Years. Until I was basically running events again.
Yeah.
Well, you had to go back to uni for a bit, eh?
Yeah. We went to uni and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, for like events and stuff. But like, I just started, when I started running events was when it was kind of like, oh, you know, it'll be like actually really nice to actually play at an event that I put on.
Yeah.
You know, it'll just be like a nice little goal. And I was just fortunate that I was constantly surrounded by people that knew what they were doing with it.
Yeah.
And people who love to kick on, and usually they're really tired after a night out. So I had all the time in the world to provide the tunes. And eventually, just kind of got to the point where I'm like, okay, like
you can, like, I can do this.
Maybe I can actually do this. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Like when you learn under that setting as well, it's like, I think the cool thing about, one thing I love about like DJ culture is that every DJ that I've ever met or every producer is so eager to share and spread that that knowledge that they have to help the person be better, because it's like the more of us there is, the better it is. It's not like a, you know, there's a competitive element to it, but it's not. It's a healthy type of competition where you elevate. You know, you don't decimate the other person's dreams in that sense.
100%. Well, it's all part about, you know, it's all just about having fun.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And also giving the person who's DJing a break. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
the tired DJ. Yeah,
exactly right.
Said name, said DJ. Yeah.
But it's just it's really, really awesome. And you know, like you said, like it's all about sharing the knowledge and stuff, and then sharing tunes. And you know, I've hit up so many people before and just been like, there's this new genre that I'm like really getting into, and I know you play this kind of stuff. If you could just point me in the right direction, or if you can recommend anything. And there's always just like, boom, here's a tune or here's a label, and that just like opens me up to a whole new like
experience.
Yeah, pretty much. It's fucking awesome.
I'm sure you can appreciate, but like it's the thirst for more music that just never stops.
100%.
It actually never stops. Like it's there was a point in my life when I realized I was like, I'm constantly questing. And it's never enough.
Yeah,
like it's, you know what I mean? Like, because look, variety is the spice of life. Music gives that to you.
Yeah,
completely agree.
In like spades. So yeah, man, I think that's like one of my favorite things about like the fact that I love music is meeting people that also vibe on like certain things. It's just like, exchanging playlists, tracks.
100%.
So sick.
Yeah, it's nice. Like, it's also like, you're constantly looking for more music, but music also serves as like a nice reminder of all the good times. You know what I mean? Like when someone gives you a playlist or they're like, oh man, this tune, and like someone drops this tune and everyone's like, oh, I fucking love this tune. You're like, oh, why do y'all love this tune? They're like, oh, that one time, at like this event, blah, blah, blah. And it's like always just brings back like the good memories,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's actually been proven scientifically that music is the number one form of nostalgia.
No shit.
There's something in the human brain. Yeah. It's the number one way to make people go, oh, I remember, and like cast people's mind back. Like music's the best way.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised.
I would have thought like food. I just think food is everything,
But like that's the thing, like, you have that many burgers, but you'll know exactly where you were when you heard Boris Brejcha drop a track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like time, place, temperature, who was with you. You know what I mean? Like,
You're like, I remember exactly where I was.
It was a hot summer night.
Shout out to KFC, Rackers. Give us money, please.
Sponsor us with nuggets.
A nugget a day keeps the blay away.
I don't know if you'd want that.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd keep him here. I'll just keep a trail of nuggets. So I can keep him.
Lead him back into the studio.
It's like Homer when he's getting the donuts fed into him.
You're like Pac-Man, but for nuggets.
Who's trying to invade my nuggets though? That's scary. Space invaders.
Space nuggets. Cosmic nuggets. But back on track here, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So you guys got a big roster of artists. You're running basically out of My Aeon, which is that predominantly what you guys are running most of your events through?
It's where I run most of my events through.
Yeah, which would fall under the Red Moon Tribe banner.
Yeah, I like
Red Moon's the sort of bigger crew, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I mean, Red Moon parties we kind of put on everywhere.
Yeah.
From abandoned warehouses to the clubs. But the actual like branded club nights, My Aeon, yeah. It's hard not to do it anywhere else.
It sounds pretty awesome in there.
Yeah, it's on point.
Yeah, it's actually one of the best places, like my favorite places to DJ in the booth is just My Aeon, because right at the front, your sound is just, it's just complete.
Yeah, I agree.
Shout out to Function One.
Who is also sponsoring this show.
Yeah, who's also sponsoring this show. New microphones.
Stacks on stacks on stacks.
So I think is Renegade one of your brands, basically, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So how did that come about? Like what was, because that's been going on pretty strong now for a few years, and I've been to obviously one or two of them, and maybe even more. I just can't count them, but every time I go, it's a packed crowd. It's a heaving dance floor for such a small club as well. So it's generally always like stacked, at the front. And I always even see you behind the bar, because also you bartend in this club. So one of the many things that you do,
They're going to have to like kill me to get me away from that joint.
Well, that's the thing, is like you and your crew bring so much to that joint. I think over the years, like I've been going to My Aeon before they had the major renovation. And for those of you who haven't been to My Aeon, it looks like a very sort of futuristic industrial club compared to the old school vibe where you had
like house party vibes, bro.
Yeah, it used to be a house.
I miss it, to be honest.
Yeah, I do the couches at the front where we can all just, basically mug out.
Yeah, and the curtain wall where you didn't actually know who was hooking up with each other behind it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about any nightclub with notoriety. You know what I mean? Like it just becomes like the people that go there, like, you know, you have to be a part of that culture. Like when you talk about those couches, I've been to My Aeon, not as frequently as you, but I, you know, like, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, when people go, oh, I remember when you could smoke in Revolver and stuff like that. And like when the pool table was there.
Revolver.
Yeah.
No shit.
Before because they banned smoking inside, but you used to be able to just pump them. They'd open up all the windows and you just darts out there.
Not that we are for smoking anyway, but
I am totally for
it's pretty much sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I'm totally. Give me a
Smoke Laramie.
Right
Smoke Laramie.
Vape me crazy.
Smoke Laramie cigarettes, guys. Marlboro Red, the holiday dart. No. I digress.
Also sponsoring this show.
Yeah. This is just basically a show to fish for sponsors. So we never have to work again. And basically can interview cool cats like you, Dan.
Oh, thank you, bro.
You know, sponsored by Red Moon, sponsored by Renegade, sponsored by
My Aeon.
But yeah, dude, you were saying though, it's like that place seems to be a bit of a mecca for the tribe.
I think it's grown to be, you know. It's I don't know. It's like kind of how I felt with events. It's like the same thing with My Aeon. Like in terms of clubs, like you're not going to get knocked back for wearing the wrong fucking shoes. Like in fact, the only time you probably get knocked back is if you rock up in a suit.
Yeah,
even then they might
it's not boutique in Paran.
It's not. But you know, it's like nothing against those clubs or anything, but like I don't know. We don't care about that shit.
It's more about
like,
who you are rather than what you're wearing.
It's who you are. It's like, come have a good time. And like, if you're an asshole, you get kicked out. You know, it's like kind of as simple as that. So I feel like it just really goes hand in hand with like what we're trying to preach, you know?
Yeah. I think you need that because that's the sort of place that enriches your clubbing experience, because that's what we're having is you're contributing to a clubber's experience, and then, you know, that experience has evolved so much in Melbourne, let alone the rest of the world. You know what I mean? And that's sort of what I like about My Aeon and even your parties is, you know, from what I've observed is you guys really sort of go back to this old school tenet of I don't know if you guys have heard of the term plur. Plur.
No.
RAVE tenets: peace, love, unity, respect. You know, and then I'm pretty sure there's parties in Melbourne called Plur, which is run by is it the Smile Police or something like that? And like in a nutshell, that's the sort of ravers' ethics or code of back in the candy raving days. You know, that's generally what it should be, or what that sort of unsaid mutual respect that we should all have. I mean, respect is one in Plur.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say that like society and culture is spread and born through hospitality venues, right? Do you know what I mean? Like people getting together, talking, like that shapes a lot of the conversations that we have. But I love it that this community, or like, you know, raving style communities, and you are right, it's the same globally. Do you know what I mean? They seem to preach like a much more harmonized version of the way things could go, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, it's just, like it becomes like a breeding ground of like progressive change, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
In society. Like, and I mean, like, you know, bad things happen everywhere, but it's just awesome that, like, you know, how we met and like how I've met, like, honestly, the majority of my friends would have to be like a mutual appreciation of music and like,
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. Like how many of your friends, if you can actually count them, you can go, I've literally know everyone I know here is just literally through partying. And then you wonder, whatever happened to the friends that I used to be friends with that didn't go to the parties? You know what I mean? Like this thing that we have, it's engulfed us, you know, like it's become our life. Isn't that so for you as well? Like it's
100%.
Like,
it's not like the people that I went to school with are now just doing nothing with their lives.
No, of course. Some of them are doing the same, involved in the same, or interested in the same stuff, but they're just doing other stuff. And this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like it's almost like when you're going out for almost like a purpose, you know, to be free and, kind of, release yourself from all the stress and all that shit that you go through in your life, and just dance. And it's like, you're not the only one on the dance floor that feels like that.
Yeah.
And so when you're kind of in that vulnerable state and other people are there vulnerable too, you have this like whole other connection that you wouldn't normally get sitting in a classroom, or
Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you. And it's kind of like, if you think about like Bourdain and what he does with the power of food, bringing like people together like that, it's the same in like music. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Transcends boundaries, cultural barriers, stuff like that. Like I was at a music festival called Labyrinth in Japan, and it's like, like just trying to converse with people when like English isn't their first language, but still figuring out a way to kind of like communicate. It was interesting,
Yeah.
Well, it is literally same with sport.
Yep.
There's no class, there's no wealth, there's no religion or
the sport itself becomes the religion. That's the funny thing. Yeah.
But it's like a religion of mixed people.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Agreed.
Just wish the government realized that.
Hey. Left, right, left. Ska.
It's funny because the last podcast that we did, we were speaking to Hard Candy, and they've been in the scene for so long, and we talked about this aspect of decriminalization and stuff like that, because at a lot of they had an incident where another festival or another brand had done a show at Festival Hall. And I think it was Q Dance, which is a Dutch company that runs like DEFCON 1 or something like that. And there was a death at Festival Hall. And the newspaper just went in there and wrote, boom, like it's a Hard Candy event, which it wasn't. It was a Q Dance event. But like there was so much bad publicity and stuff like that, which then ruined, like that actually, really hurt. Like, they managed to recover, as our listeners who listen to that one will know. But the main point that we sort of went to is like there needs to be this openness around even just that, like just drug taking and like pill testing at festivals. And I don't know, man, like even if we can have a component of it in clubs, or at least the clubs that the big events. I don't know, it's just an opinion, but it's definitely the way forward.
I completely agree. Although in saying that, I think we've definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like now there's a lot more police presence at festivals and events and stuff. But at the same time, like you've got, what are they called? Like Blow Me First?
Yep.
Or whatever it is. And, I think
Dance-wise,
harm reduction. Yeah.
Exactly right. There's just a lot more like resources or kind of collectives or organizations that are actually there, like really
to monitor.
They just understand. You know what I mean? You can't say that none of this shit happens. Like it's been happening since I don't know, since like rock and roll.
The 50s.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's Madison Avenue, the Madman. I mean, I don't know.
I think the problem is that few
speakeasies.
too few of us.
Far out has been gone for ages.
I think that the issue is like too few of us that sort of, I don't want to say that they like that either grow or not grow old, but too few of us decide to go into politics and actually try and do something about it. Like the only time I've ever seen us rally behind it is when we went into lockdown and the music industry was like closed. You know what I mean? Like, and what is it? I think you shared a post on Facebook about like saving Australia's nightlife and stuff. Oh, Melbourne's nightlife. When the government wasn't giving us I guess a directive of where we're going, or where, like, what's going to happen. Are we going to have our nightlife industry back? And I think if more, maybe not us, but at least some of these bigger event organizers would actually, pull together some sort of legal team to actually push for better legislation around these events, like to be able to have fucking street parties like we used to have in Brunswick back in 100%. The late 90s. And
they're making a comeback, Bob.
You reckon?
Yeah. There's
you mean the scene? You mean the scene?
Or
what do you
like
mean?
Just the street parties in general, like
yeah.
don't know if you've heard of Beat Repeat.
I have, yeah.
No, what is that? What is
Is it
it?
magazines, publications?
No.
Or
That's
just Beat.
magazine. No,
Yeah.
Beat Repeat's run by two really awesome people, Liz and Adam. And basically like kind of bringing the old school street rave vibes back to Brunny.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Completely kosher by the by the Moreland Council or whatever it is.
Completely kosher by Moreland.
Is it just going to be like Sydney Road Festival, but like a small pocket, or?
No, its own thing.
Not full blown like closed down Sydney Road and have
Small
a rave.
part of.
Wait a second.
But the fact that we can do it out kind of on the street type thing is a great first step to getting back to where we used to be, you know?
How do you
Hell
know
yeah.
this inside information?
I went to the event.
Oh, okay. So this event's already happened?
Yeah, they've already done one. But I do know that they're working on some really cool stuff coming up. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
When did you go to it?
Oh, when was it? I feel like it was in between one of the lockdowns at one point.
4 and 5? No. Yeah, because 4 and 5, there was.
It's all a blur.
In between 4 and 5, there was a
Had
little
like a nice,
sweet
like,
moment.
2 month kind of break
Yeah.
then.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever that was.
I think that was in between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Because remember, like, there was that little chill bit, and then we went in, then we went out, and then we went straight back in again for like 6 months. Yeah. And that was lockdown 6. I remember messaging all my mates being like, lockdown 6 hits different.
It did though.
It really did.
Actually did. You know,
It
we
really
joke about
did.
it, but that was fucked up.
Yeah. We're like, we talk about it. was so horrible.
But you know what? It wasn't all that bad. Like,
Silver linings. It was just a very mild form of existence. I think I was in a very lucky position, you know, that I was able to have a very mild existence, which was chill. But
yeah.
How did you write it out, man?
Oh, wasn't easy.
Yeah.
A lot of food. A lot of food, a lot of music. Actually, that as cliche as it sounds, that really helped.
How so? Like, how were you just like DJing a lot? Were you listening to?
Yeah, just like honestly, just listen. Like whenever I just feel shit, I just whack on some tunes, you know, or I'll just go on a bit of a tune hunt, and that completely just takes your mind off all the fuckery that's going around you.
Because you go into a vortex. That's the thing about tune hunting, isn't it, Blade? You vortex.
Pretty much, you go down that rabbit hole, and then you realize you haven't slept for like 4 days. But you got a sick playlist, so
Jeez,
it's all right.
man. That's some hardcore
No,
tune
I wasn't
hunting,
like that.
man.
Yeah. I'm seeing a psychologist.
I want what he's having. I want what he's having.
he's eating vinyls for breakfast.
Yeah, it's like teeth going black.
It's waxy, but it's good.
Oh, that's great.
Man, I'm super curious, right? Because like, okay, someone that's not super familiar with your style, you know, like how would you describe your style of like DJing to people?
Oh, as in like the music?
Yeah.
Music you play. Yeah.
And I know like genres can be traps, but you know, just like
shit. Like, I mean, I'm straight out saying it, not the best DJ. You know, like I can't do all the cool, fancy, like, you know, maybe one day I could be like a Brown Bear or like a Tell or like a Luke Vecchio type thing who can just like pretty much close their eyes and just make cool shit, you know, like books, whatever. But not like that, and I'm like okay with it. And so my styles, honestly, I started just playing kind of normally with 2 decks, and then just really slow
progression
transitions, yeah, and just like mixing tunes kind of halfway through type thing.
almost ambient though, or like
or is it like techno?
I've got such a big. I love so many different types of music that it's like it almost becomes hard to like constantly just play one thing,
one style or that.
Yeah,
preach to the choir, my man.
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, and so like I play anything from like kind of psychedelic techers, been getting really into the deep hypnotic techer stuff like Hypnus Records, that kind of stuff. And then you know you got to have that like funky groovy shit in your life. So like all about the minimal house. Love my dark disco. Also love psytrance. I can't play it to absolutely save my life, so I just prefer to just listen to it or listen to other people play it.
Man, come here, we'll give you lessons.
Just don't.
Main
Next
stage,
time.
Sunday, Rainbow.
Yeah.
Be there.
Be there, be square.
That was my favorite time to hear psytrance, I reckon. That was pretty
100%.
good. Yeah.
I mean, I remember going to a dwarf and I didn't actually know what some of the music was, and I'd like go home and be like,
And research.
what the fuck was that?
What was that?
You know, and it was
Blew
just
my
like,
mind,
but I
yeah.
also realized that like when you're at home, you don't have a massive stack of subbies. And so it just,
don't need it,
just
man.
like, it hits different a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I spent literally ages trying to figure out like the proper kind of music. And then I found out psytrance and actually like started listening to psytrance like religiously. And then it kind of got to the point where it's
It
like,
is-
I can't wake up and just constantly listen to psytrance anymore. Like,
It's bizarre, man. Like psytrance, like the same thing happened to me in the very beginning. It was like, why is this thing just taking over all the genres in my life? I stopped listening to hip hop. I stopped listening to trance. I stopped listening to everything that I was like into, and was just like a 2-year fucking hardcore psytrance thing. And now I'm like, I cannot no, just no.
I mean, it has its days.
It has its
You
day.
know,
It definitely has its day.
days, but like I can't listen to it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I kind of just started like finding the stuff that was slightly less intense.
yeah.
Into techno, and then just like, well, okay, I can't also listen to that all the time, and then like,
Well,
and
But
then
it
you
goes
just
in
gotta help it
waves.
spread.
It goes in waves, hey, you know what I mean? Because like that's the thing, like when you're a multi-genrelist and you just sort of like, yeah, you almost rinse one genre for a bit and then you go, oh, I feel like this today, or like, you know, I feel like
100%.
that genre today, or I feel like that. Like, yeah, you really broaden the horizons.
It's very mood driven, you know,
absolutely.
and it's awesome because like, also if you're feeling shit, if you have the right music, it can completely
100%.
like change your whole attitude or just day basically. But yeah, it's good honestly, like having and listening and playing to a bunch of different types of music is just like, just keeps shit different.
Sick.
It's just nice and it's just like fresh, and it's like when you come back to a genre that you haven't listened to in ages, you're like, it's like discovering it again for the first time, you know, and you've just got that like, I don't know what you call it, like the I'm
flair.
doing like a weird dance, but this is the only way I can describe it. Just the
let's just hold it.
This is all right. This is a new emote. This means vibe.
Just do the Vinny Vici.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Shout out to Vinny Vici.
yeah. Also sponsoring the show.
Shout out to Avi from Vinny Vici.
Aboga Records. We love you.
Picked him up from the airport.
Did you?
Yeah, man. I played with Sesto Cento before they were Vinny Vici. They were Sesto Cento, and I played. I played at the same gig for Earthcore when they had him play the indoor club, and got to pick up the boys from the airport, and it was one of them, and yeah, it was like, boom, that happened, ladies and gentlemen, on the microphone.
What a catch! Don't worry.
Yeah.
A bit of chucks, mate. Will be sweet.
Still got it.
You are
Anyway,
a catch.
you were.
Playing with Vinny Vici.
There's a bit of romance there. Hey, baby.
So no, but do tell us.
No,
you were picking up Vinny
yeah,
Vici,
yeah.
airport.
No, I just picked up Vinny Vici, but like,
Oh yeah,
I just wanted,
picking up. Oh yeah.
no, I just wanted to do shout out to
nothing
Vinny
serious.
Vici.
Play with
because-
him.
Pick up Vinny Vici,
No big
man.
deal, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
before Paradigm, you know, fuck, it's nothing.
Oh, Paradigm. No, we just want another sponsor, man. That's all it is. But I did want to segue into something because you said, you know, you're really into psychedelic techers, and actually you are a part of this thing called Sixth Sense, which is awesome to see because it's I guess a Melbourne representation of that sound. Well, not just Melbourne, but in Australia wide / that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what Sixth Sense is, isn't it? Or is it a label? Is it a new collective or brand? You run that with Jed, right? Jedida?
Yeah, there's Jed, myself, Chris. We founded it. And Ziggy Bramich up in Queensland does like heaps and heaps of work for it as well. Like,
Yeah.
so it's the four of us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So is it a label or what is it exactly?
So it started off as a club night.
Yeah.
You know, there was an opportunity to run an event at Aeon. Chris came up to me and he was like, this is kind of like what I wanted to do. We're like, sweet. And he's like, I want to get Jetty involved. We're like, sweet. So we used to meet up at a Macca's in the city for a little bit and just like chat it out.
Yeah.
Came up with a whole concept. And then it kind of just like, it was basically, you know, this is the sound that we really want to push. Everyone's heard it. A lot of people are producing it.
Yeah.
But
and it's been going on for a while.
It's been going on for a while, but like, you know, you couldn't really, we thought that we couldn't really bring enough people into the club just on the music alone.
Yeah.
So we're like, right, well, like, how can we get people in there? And the theory is that if we can bring people in for the experience, then they'll come more often. They'd listen to the music, and the more they listen to the music, then we eventually build like the platform for it, you know?
Yeah.
So we started running Sixth Sense events. And the whole concept was basically like, let's just fuck with everyone's senses. So we have like, we would hide smells, we'd have different shots with like all the 5 different tastes that you have. Bunch of fairy walls for people to play with, and like
if the Jeffrey gets too much,
you know what I mean? Like, and you know, the visuals and the decor, performers, just a big sensual stimulation. Sensual stimulation.
Yeah.
Sensory overload.
Yeah, pretty much. And then lockdown happened.
Yeah.
And was like just chatting to Jed, and I'm just like, man, like we need to just keep the name out there type thing.
It's a great logo as well.
Yeah. Shout outs to Jyden for doing that.
Jyden Creative. Yeah, from Recovery Collective. That's
it. And then so we started doing like SoundCloud mixes. Like Jed just is low key, just knows like all of the international dudes in the sound, you know, and it's just just kind of best mates with them.
Yeah.
And so we actually started getting like some really big artists on, and then obviously, you know, we're all about the local still as well. So it's kind of like every so often we'll get an international, but also let's start and showcasing the artists. And that was kind of the first foundation. And then kind of like a few months later, like Ziggy hit us up and he's like, "Yo, I've got this idea. What if we did like kind of like a whole platform?" And, you know, we start doing like premieres, and we've already got the SoundCloud thing. We've got our events. We can do write-ups and reviews. And now it's turned into like this whole kind of like multimedia platform that I guess services like, the psychedelic tech subculture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick. And it's, we've like kind of built it to almost become like the Australian voice for it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to see because for the most part, you know, Australian psychedelic music is always, you associate Xenon with it. And props to Ziggy as well for showing the other side of that, where you can have psychedelic music but have elements of house, progressive, techno with his label Basic, which is now Stone Seed. Is it Stone Seed Records? Is that what it is?
Stone Seed, yeah.
Yeah, Stone Seed Recordings or Records?
That's a Ziggy question.
That's a Ziggy question. When
hey, Ziggy,
we'll get
what are you doing next week, brother?
Ziggy on line one.
Next time he's booked for your gig, you know, we'll bring him in here.
Yeah, done.
All right, tell us. But you know, it's funny because I've been playing the genre for a long time, since like 2012, and one of the sort of pioneers of it is Sun Controlled Species and Perfect Stranger, which is no stranger to anyone I think out there. He's been one of the longest standing DJs who literally has been through the sort of psytrance, trance and techno sort of years, and he's managed to find a way to merge it under his label Digital Structures, which you guys seem to now sort of doing a bit of a collab with, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see, which I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's really cool. And that's a big win as well.
To be honest, man. Like,
that's a big name.
I guess it's just kind of like
huge. Yeah.
It's having obviously it helps when you know the right people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like,
shout out to Jed for that.
And shout out to Ziggy and Jed. Yeah.
Is his name Yuli?
Yuli
Ferstad.
Yeah. An absolute gem of a human being, man.
My mate met him at Burning Man, and he's like mates with him.
I actually,
Yeah.
talking about picking people up from the airport. I picked him up from the airport. I think Joel booked him for an event.
Sick.
Drove him to Aeon. Like
I played right after that.
that's right. I remember.
played right after. Yeah.
In my head, I'm just like, fuck yeah! Like I just met Yuli. Anyway, the dude leaves his headphones, like his noise cancelling headphone things, in my car. Right. So what happens? He gives me his WhatsApp number, and I'm like chatting to him, and he's like, "Oh, can you send it back to me in like California or something?"
California, yeah. He's
and I'm like, "Oh man, like this is my chance." So like, I go to the post office, like drop in a couple of like 6 cents, like
yes,
stuff. And I send it, and then like a month later, I get a message from Yuli being like, "Hey, bro. Where's my headphones?" And I'm just like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I've sent them to you, and he's like, "Oh, I haven't received anything." And turns out I got the address wrong.
Shit.
On the
oh shit.
On the thing. So yeah, he got them back.
Yeah.
In the end, but
no 6 cents.
So it definitely wasn't from me.
So that just ended up becoming his agent / assistant's worst nightmare.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I need to apologize to that dude next time I see him.
You're like, it's California, not Arkansas.
Yeah, straight up. But yeah, no, it's honestly, man, it's like, you grow up listening to all these labels
and legends,
and then one day you wake up and you're premiering tracks from them, or like the artists are like releasing mixes on your platform.
So just to clarify that, when you say premiere, does that mean you guys are releasing it as a label, or does that just mean like it you've heard it here first?
You've heard it here first. Okay,
so it's getting released elsewhere or on the mother label, but you're just showcasing it first on.
Yeah, correct. So often what would happen is like Zig and Jetty would be working with these labels, and these guys would send him like an album, and basically be like, this is our album, and then we would go through it and kind of choose the right song to premiere. Like the boys are pretty like particular about
what makes the cut.
Like what makes the cut. Like, man, even knocking back like some of these big label tunes because it just doesn't fit into the 6 Sense sound is like, I initially was just like, what the fuck? But then like Jet doesn't give a fuck. He's like, nah, bro, it's not the 6 Sense sound. So like, we're not going to premiere it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is great because it keeps the integrity of what we're doing. But so that's pretty much what happens. Like we just pick a tune and write a nice little blurb about it, get it up on the website and the platforms, and
so it's really, apart from being a brand event, like a branded event, and it's just a way for you guys to showcase and sort of spearhead the movement of sci-tech, or at least just the sort of this genre, this subgenre that sort of stems from psytrance and techno. Just so if anyone still doesn't understand what psy-techno, if that wasn't,
I was actually
obvious
in the corner here about to ask that exact question. I'm like, what different? At what point does it become sci-tech?
Well, do you want to answer this, or should I answer this?
The funny thing is that when we first started 6 Sense, there was like this running joke that I just didn't know what sci-tech was. And like it got to the point where I was just like, maybe I'll never know. You know what I mean? So in that case, if you want to explain what it is, I'll let you know.
I think I can really pinpoint at some point. I can pinpoint sort of where the transition started happening and where it started to become really, I guess, a thing, and which labels had sort of spearheaded the movement. And I can put it down to a few labels and a few individuals who I've managed to manage. No, I've had the pleasure of either playing at the same gig or picking up from the airport. Or even when I used to have a radio show on Kiss FM, we've had like the two of the guys from Mexico who are some of the earlier pioneers of sci-tech. So obviously for you, Blaney, psychedelic techno is, I guess, the term, but from Xenon Records, which was a very sort of Australian progressive psychedelic thing, Senzi, and the label owner, had always had like very techno influences. So have the other producers, and so our Australian, like I feel like it definitely originates from two or three places. Is Australia and Mexico is one of them. The two people. Canada? I don't know.
Does Alex Stein play
records?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't say that's psych tech.
No, but he has some sounds that might sound psychedelic. But psytech is like very much an amalgamation of also house, progressive, and all these different genres. But just because it's psychedelic, it's so much easier to fuse that into the production.
Word.
Right? But those two guys, Rules and Navarro from Undergroove Music, that's a label in Mexico. They used to come and play at Rainbow heaps. And so in 2011, 2012, like I was going to Rainbow and like listening to some of these earlier versions of Psytech while prog Psy was also still becoming slowly a thing. Perfect Stranger, no doubt. Huge influence on the genre, if not one of the main people to spearhead it. And one of our own, Sun Control Species, who is retired from playing gigs, but he does mastering. But he's like I've seen him at Rainbow. He was a mainstay on the main stage of Rainbow. You know, you have Monday.
I've seen him, man.
Yeah, Monday.
He's sick.
He is just amazing. And he used to play faster music, and he was one of the first major exports from Australia. And I always, you know, I did have him on my Kiss FM show, and I always send him messages going, "When are you gonna come back?" Like when are you gonna, you know? And then this Rainbow, the one that didn't go through because of lockdown and the fires, he was actually gonna play a set, you know. And he's actually been writing a book, like a fantasy book, you know. Yeah, pretty fucking cool, man.
That's cool.
But yeah, so people like that have influenced the genre. There's a few festivals as well that have contributed to it. There's a festival in Mexico called Ometiyotl, which is, I think, part of Undergroove, is also run by a guy called Kleeman. You know, there's all these...
Kleeman.
Yeah.
Fantastic dude.
Yeah. Sent him a few things. Just really open and receptive. Just OGs, you know, DJs and promoters. And then Ibogatech, which was, you know, releasing prog side. But then a lot of the guys from their roster really... Like, I love that Ibogatech sound. Is very...
Me too. You know...
I guess Psytech. I'm sure you guys have released some or showcased, I guess, premiered
from my Bogatech. Yeah. Some like
I know Ziggy's working with them because he sent me he got me on their promo pool, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah,
it's pretty good to get access to the music before. Yeah,
you made the cut. Nice.
And I was like, oh yes, I'd love to be on that and not have to pay.
Yeah, it's
even though I've been paying, you know.
I mean, I would say the main labels that we release from is Stone Seed.
Yep. Formerly known as Basic.
Technosis Records.
Mm-hmm. Is that in Perth?
Technosis Records.
Technosis?
Technosis is in Canada.
Oh, that's why you said.
There's an awesome dude. Yeah, there's an awesome dude
Ben
called
Rama?
Luke. Yeah, so Ben Rama owns the label.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an awesome dude in Perth called Luke Casapoli.
Yeah.
Who is now actually in Tasmania.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like the
A&R,
like the Australian
counterpart.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Or label DJ, or just does he actually help find producers to release with?
I'm not entirely sure what he does, but obviously it's working because you know it's like really it's
representing.
It's a big, like, it's pretty well known here now. Yeah. I mean, you know, like there's other like labels around the world, like Superb Records.
Mm-hmm.
In India, which is Brega's label.
Yeah, Brega,
yeah. Honestly, man, like it's just being with Jed and Ziggy throughout this whole thing has just opened me up to
all these genres.
This whole another world that was always there.
Yeah.
But now I just like, I see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's great.
It's
fantastic.
It's amazing to see that evolution because like Ziggy is also with what he's doing with Stone Seed and Basic is really kind of paving the way in the same way that I feel like in the same way that Xenon really paved the way. And that's a big statement to say, but like Xenon's gone global, but Stone Seed is really sort of representing Australian music across, you know, the States. And yeah, it's getting bigger though, you know. It's getting bigger. He's getting a lot of international like success and or let's say coverage in that sense. And I think it's awesome. It's awesome to see someone like really taking the mantle for the sort of next generation. And, you know, when I was...
And he's young as well, dude.
Yeah, very young, very
years
driven.
ahead of him. So like, if you like this kind of music and you're an Australian, like you're living in a very lucky time.
Yeah. So, man, I mean, how did you and Jed and like how did you meet Jed, and then how did you meet Ziggy, and how did this sort of relationship transform?
I met Jed. He started helping us set up for Renegade Nights.
Yeah.
We had like a little deal. I would get him in and he'd come and help me out.
Yeah.
In what capacity?
Honestly, just anything. Most of the time we just liked having him around. He's just such a fucking good dude. So, you know, just always got the banter. So it's just like nice to have someone there and, you know, creating a good vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, like, you know, with lighting, sound check.
No. Just like setting shit up,
The
giving
door.
your opinion. If something goes wrong, he's pretty onto it.
Yeah.
And it was just, it just worked really, really well. And then over the years, we just became like just really, really close. And then he became a Red Moon resident.
Yep.
That's kind of just like how it always happens with us. Just someone joins the fam and then they become like more into it. And then, you know,
Part of the furniture.
part of the furniture pretty much. Yeah. And then we started running 6 Cents, and that was like properly when we actually just like,
Yeah.
like just bouncing off ideas like constantly, just like random calls or like someone godly out with just with like a new idea concept or what have you. And that has not slowed down.
No, it doesn't seem like you guys are.
in the slightest.
Yeah.
And then with Zig, shit, how did I meet Zig?
You tell me.
I met Zig when we started booking some of the UK acts for Renegade. So we got like Doppel. I think Doppel was when I first like dealt with Ziggy.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I ever had to deal with a booking agent.
Yeah.
And that was actually pretty cool at the time. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm like,
I'm dealing with booking
I actually
agents.
got to sign a contract. This is like not bad. But then you're
The
also
real
like,
world.
shit, I actually have to
The
like,
white, the white collar.
Yeah.
Sign the dotted line.
and then I was doing a lot of work with the Elysium Gathering.
Yeah.
Shout outs to low key, the best festival in Australia. And yeah, I was doing a lot of work with like the whole artist section. And so I dealt with Ziggy a lot because we booked a lot of euchre artists off him. And then kind of through that, he approached me to help him out with euchre. And then basically, you know, the relationship was just there and formed. And he's kind of like, it's weird because the dude's younger than me, but he's like been such a mentor to me.
Yeah, he's been there for a while, I think. Like,
yeah, he has been, and then kind of hit us up when like during lockdown with the whole 6 Cents thing, and now it's weird because like Jed's also like helping him out with Stone Sid, so it's kind of like we all
collaborate,
are working
contribute,
with each other for each other. But it's all just like
intermingling.
it's just collab, man. It's the fucking best,
It's the beauty of collaboration.
isn't it?
When the groove fits,
Waffles and Blade.
it works good, baby.
Vote for me.
I got one for you, man. I'm curious. What's the best project? Like, what are you most proud of that the four of you guys have done together?
In terms of like
Anything.
doing it together.
Yeah. 6 Cents.
6 Cents.
Yeah.
Oh man. I reckon there's been a few, like probably my standout events definitely was the first one, which was dope.
Yeah.
You know, like just there's a real beauty in just like having an idea in your head and then actually seeing it come into life.
Executing it. Yeah.
You know, and there was just so much planning that went into that event and so much time and effort, and just like I think it might have sold out. Can't remember, we hit capacity at one of the two, but it was just like it was just a sick one, man. Like all of our ideas just actually like
come to life,
kind of worked. Yeah. It was like fucking awesome. And it was like proper. I remember just standing at the back of the dance floor, just being like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
This is what it's
love
all
that
about,
feeling.
You know?
Yeah.
Not a better feeling. And then I would also say the Grouch Event was definitely a highlight. It was the last one we did. I think it was our last event before lockdown.
Initial.
Sorry?
Like the first one?
Before the like the first one. And
March.
we go again counting. We did that. Yeah.
But who's counting that?
And
True.
It was, that was just like a fucking party, bro. Like it was just insane.
Where was that?
At My Aeon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oscar Allison.
Shout out to Oscar. Yeah.
Was it in dub? Was it with the band and everything? Or was it just him?
No,
Can't fit him in there.
It was just Grouch. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was great. Like definitely a highlight. And then I'd say when we launched the 6 Sense platform, I had to I spent like, I think it was like 2 months teaching myself how to build a website.
Yeah, it's like a blogging platform.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But you use like WordPress.
Yeah, nice.
But it is like WordPress is definitely not sponsoring this shit. 'Cause they're like, oh man, it was the most difficult thing that I've ever done, and like I had to redo the entire thing at least like 3 times, and it was just like, you know, there was a deadline coming up of when we needed to release stuff, and it was just so intense for me. So much pressure. And then it finally just like is out there, you know, like we did it, it's out there. And that was like a real proud moment. Just seeing like you taking another step for the brand and what it could potentially mean and what it now means for us and, you know, the community and stuff, which is,
it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling.
It is.
I know what you mean. Like, you know, to watch your creative endeavors like come to life. It's a bloody good feeling, man. It's nice.
And even to go past those like struggles as well, because like I'm dabbling and I still am like constantly learning web development and stuff. It's an area of interest for me, and I know what you're saying with WordPress is that it can be so. Making that thing that you want to do this thing, and it's like you just can't, you know, you're trying 100%. To express your ideas, but you're limited by your knowledge either of the technology, or the technology itself is actually just clunky, which I think WordPress, depending on the theme that you get, but can be. But there's ways around it. Just so
there is, the way around it is find people that know what they're doing and get them to help you out.
Yeah, that, or I was gonna suggest outsourcing. I was gonna. That's the best thing. If you know, it's like if you've got ideas, you might as well just outsource it. If you can afford it and someone can do it better than you, don't waste your time. But
yeah, I mean, I did pretty much all of it. By myself in the end. I definitely had a lot of guidance from
and guidance is different
from friends and like showing me like kind of like how it all works, or like if there was just like either like a coding problem or just something that I literally just couldn't figure out. Someone would help me and do it.
Have you tried Elementor?
No.
As a plugin?
No.
Highly recommend. Elementor allows just you know, you have to go back and forth to the sort of back end page and do things there, and then, you know, go back to this. Elementor just allows you to sort of do it live on the page. And it has a little bit of drag and drop elements, but even Elementor itself, for me with WordPress, was still a bit like, Jesus, why is this page doing this now?
It's hard.
And it's not doing it on the iPad or the iPad breakpoint or this. It's like, oh God, I hate this thing.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, like at the end of the day, man, like success doesn't come easy. Like I feel like you need to fuck up so many times to like get that one.
No, and that's so funny about especially the process of building websites, because you're like you said, like DJing, you know, it's like, oh, this is so difficult, or this isn't really clicking, and then you come back to it months or years later, and then you're like,
you just get it.
Yeah. And it's probably because you just like, I think that you learn indirectly from the people that are around you. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
Well, it's weird because, you know, like we live in a society where the quest for right is relentless, and you get crucified for your mistakes. But at the same time, it's like, how else can you grow?
Yeah.
Like, unless you sort of like go, oh shit. It's when you need to learn from the setbacks. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I think it was Will Smith or something, like posted something recently where like, you know, him just driving in a car, and you know how like every now and then like celebrities just go on this like real true D&M style vibe. It's real like, you know what I mean?
Always in the car.
Always in the car, they're driving, and you know what I mean? It's almost as if like, you know, it's like, you know, his son was like with him and he just started chatting. He's like, Dad, this is fire. Like, you know, or like whatever. But no, but seriously, like it's, you know, what he was trying to say is that like, you know, go out and fail. Yeah. Go out and fail. You know what I mean? Because you learn a lot more from that growing process sometimes than just like always getting it right.
100%. No, I mean, like it's not like go and intentionally fail.
Yeah.
But it's like when you fail, accept that failure is just part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also helps when you've got a great support system, because like sometimes failing really fucking sucks.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like if you've got the right people around you and that can like, you know, they're there to lift you up or just support you and just like reassure you that like it's okay, like you're still on the path, bro.
Definitely. And I think that that's a side of collaboration that doesn't really get like talked about much either. 100%. You know what I mean? It's as much as about sharing ideas as it is about like taking on that person
100%
as well.
100%.
Like, and what they are as a person.
100%. Yeah, there's a real beauty in that, isn't it?
I agree. Yeah, I completely agree, dude.
So talking a little bit about failures, I'm not going to ask you what did you sort of fail into that, but what is something you guys, like troubles or difficulties you guys experience running some of these events, or, you know what I mean? Like, and how do you guys recover from them? Or just like limitations, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, look, to be honest, when it comes to running events, I've had a real lucky run.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've had one event that's flopped since I've been doing it. And again, I think that's definitely down to the people that
surrounded
that I'm surrounded by 100%.
Yeah. Strength in numbers.
Well, strength in just the right people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Power of the people.
Power of the people.
Wait, are you both just singing two different songs?
I just went like improv on that, but
I liked it. Yeah, it's nice.
Well, why don't you guys keep singing it?
I'm gonna drop it.
You guys.
Beatbox jinx.
Yeah.
Dan. No.
Dan Abel. Beatbox extraordinary.
Shit, yeah, like
Add another slash to the name.
limitations is definitely like finance is definitely a limitation, especially when your head is like exploding with ideas. Like you know, sometimes you get a little bit carried away and you're just like, oh, fuck. Like we've spent way more than we can actually afford
more than this budget.
Yeah, and you're trying to like, you know, you justify it, but it's just like, you know, it's for the people, it's right. But you know, your bank account is kind of like, well, you know, if you kind of want to keep on doing that,
you should stop.
Then you should stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always been a thing. We've definitely developed a good system now to like ensure that doesn't happen anymore, which is good, and we try and stick by it as much as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like another hard thing that we always kind of face is keeping the night like fresh and different.
Yeah.
And current. And that's like, I don't know, it's a big thing for me. Like I'm always so scared about like being stale.
Yep.
You know? But at the same time, like Melbourne has so much fucking talent in so many, like not just music, but from like stage builders to, you know, decor to pretty much like fucking anything. Like I feel like any idea that you have, there is someone out there in this country or city that can make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a limitation, but then obviously like when you network more and you start to meet more people, that kind of stops happening and you can kind of realize your dreams a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but honestly, like there hasn't really, I don't know. I feel like I've been afforded the luxury to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that I think I'm like the luckiest person
The grateful for
in the fucking world, you know?
Yeah.
Not saying that I've never fucked up,
Yeah.
you know, but I think a lot of the mistakes that could seriously like cost a brand's reputation or, you know, would be like completely detrimental to the overall success of an event. I've kind of just learned from other people.
And being a punter as well.
And definitely being 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean as well, because
100%.
you know that's the thing for me as well. Like, you know, I've been a punter for ages, and I think like going to the events, like you can go, oh yeah, that's a nice touch, you know, like and stuff as well, and get ideas from that.
100%. Yeah. Like, oh man, that's the thing. It's like sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, you know. Like, events are there to go and enjoy yourself. And there's been times where like I had a moment where I actually couldn't enjoy myself at an event because I would be over analyzing like
Oh man,
everything. Like, oh, how do they do this? Like, oh well, okay, this is how people are reacting. Okay, sick. Like, if we did this but did it like that, or like, okay, well, if we're gonna do it like that, who do we get on to like help do like that? And like, man, it fucking like drove me crazy to the point where I couldn't enjoy myself.
it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
The only way I feel like is to go to somewhere where you don't know the music or you're just not connected to anyone in the scene. I have this problem even as someone who doesn't put events on regularly, but all the years of lackeying and working in festivals, it's so hard. I'll go to a club and you know you're just like, oh, the sound is like this and this is not that and that's like that and why is that and the lighting is this or the street, and you're just like, dude, shut up. Right. You have to tell yourself to shut up and just like
fucking
actually
have fun, bro.
Have fun and enjoy the night, and that's when you go to the bar.
Just literally, yeah. Well, my answer was like, I'll just work behind the bar.
Yours
and then I'm just always there, and I don't have to analyze anything. I can just like focus on my job.
But you can also sink into the vibe of the room. You know, you can also you sort of still have that bird's eye view. And that's, you know, sometimes also the solution is just to get behind the decks because that's the best it sounds, you know, like it always sounds louder there. It always sounds like that. And you're like, you've got the full scope of the dance floor and it's so much easier to connect. But it's definitely, it becomes a thing, man. It becomes like a little disease that you get as an event promoter. And I think there needs to be I don't know what the remedy is, but there needs to be a remedy for that. Like to actually,
we should start a support group.
Yeah, support group for promoters. You know.
I don't enjoy events anymore.
Yeah. You know what?
Hi, I'm Alex.
I think what it
I used to party. Now I just stand there and I can't stop thinking about the color scheme.
Yeah, I know, and like, you know, the only way I think for me to enjoy it is to actually, like, you know, you become very particular about what you like listening to, and then the only way to really enjoy it is to go to an event where you particularly know that you love the music. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But then, what are the sound systems not that loud? You know, like
straight up.
It's like you're like, I'm trying. It's just not loud enough. Like, where's the bass? You know.
For me, even a funny one like was when I got really like holy about function ones at one point in my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? You go to an event and I'd be talking to my mate like, yeah, but like when you've got a stack of function ones, like, you know, and just be like really obsessed.
You haven't lived.
That's optimum sound quality, you know?
Yeah, I was exactly like that. It was like one of like the proudest things of working at My Aeon. You know, it's like, oh, where do you work? Like My Aeon. Like, oh, is it cool? Like, bro, got function ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to say anything else.
You don't even know. You don't even know, bro.
It was literally, you know, and it was always like, especially when you're arguing with people of like, whose club's better?
Yeah.
It's just like the final blow is just like, function ones, bro. There's no comeback. You just get like, fair enough. Like,
where do I queue up?
You just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, literally.
Where's the line?
Yeah.
Oh man. Little did you know? Do you know that's like it really just depends on who tunes the rig and how good the rig is and the room acoustics and all that. You know, I used to be like, yep, it's just layers, man. That's a conversation left for audio engineers.
Wrong person to be chatting to that about.
This guy, however, good to chat about.
Yeah, straight up.
Well, you know what? I met Tony. Do you know who Tony Andrews is?
He's not Dan Andrews' son, is he?
No, God no.
Second cousin.
Tony Andrews. Tony Andrews is the founder of Function One,
Oh, nice.
and I met him.
Oh, sick.
And I almost pissed my pants and like just like fanboying.
Picked him up from the airport.
No, not him. Yeah, picked him up from the toilet.
That's the best place.
Yeah, I gave him some wet,
Friendships of four.
yeah. We were at Boom Festival and I gave him some wet wipes across the toilet. No, that actually is not how it went down. But it did go down at Boom Festival.
Cool.
Boom's main stage. My mate Aiden from Tetric Structures. Really good friend of mine.
What a talented dude.
Yeah, extremely
Holy
talented, very, very skilled technically as well, and just an absolute legend of a dude who I've been friends with him for a long time. He used to do these dinner things, like once a week, go to a really nice restaurant and basically pig out on some nice food. But anyways, so Aiden was it's digressing here.
The food, eh?
This always comes back to the food, yeah. Shout out to Rice Paper Scissors, my favorite restaurant.
I've got a booking there soon. I'm keen.
Yeah. The Mekong whiskey lamb, that is the shit, and the crying tiger chicken, and the so on and so forth. So Aiden was doing the main stage at Boom, so he's doing all the shade fabrics. He was brought on. Someone else I think was running it, but he was brought on as one of their sort of core team, and so he was there at on location, like, you know, sewing and helping and all this this and that. So I got to sort of go underneath the sort of, you know, the red tape, and he was like, "You want to come in and have a look at this thing?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And then I'm just standing there and I just see this guy, like old guys, like gray hair and everything, British, very sun-kissed, with just a giant dreadlock, one single dreadlock in the back, and like all the way up to his bum. And he's just walking around, like hands on one ear, hands on the other ear. That year, Boom was, I think, 2016 or 2015, and he'd come up with this new system where he literally just stacked on one side, like almost like a 2-story building worth of subs, just like stacked them all up. And it was just like new.
My mouth is salivating right now.
Man, I'm telling you, like, this was crazy because like they advertised it on the like Boom like pamphlets and everything, and it was going to be this like completely new like system he's trying to design. And obviously, the fact that a festival got the guy who designed the world-class speaker system to actually tune that speaker system himself. And so I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, it's Tony Andrews." And then my mate's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Motherfucker, that guy owns those companies." Like, "What, like those stacks?" I'm like, "No, he made them." Like, his company made them. Like, that's this
Designer.
You know, like, that's big. Like, it's
massive.
This guy is like, you know, there's a whole documentary about him talking about how sound, like why he made Function One is like it at its purest form is meant to be what, like the sound that you would hear in your studio or whatever. Like, this is the most organic, the best version or representation of it, and that's what they decided to aim to do with the speakers, right? And he was there, man, and he was just like walking around trying to tune this shit. And I just went up to him and I was just like, "Tony Andrews?" He's like, "Yes." "I just want to shake your hand." You know?
Thanks, man.
I'm just like, "Thank you for everything that you've done." And he's like, "Thanks, mate." And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to, like, if I can be like, "Oh, you know," start to have a conversation
Anyway,
about audio.
Mixtape.
Yeah, here's my Sixth Sense mixtape, man. I'm like, "Hey, man, do you mind playing my tune on your rig?" Yeah.
But it would be amazing though, man. Like seeing like a proper pioneer in
his element.
in that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. That's why I just went up to him. I had to shake his hand. I had to meet him, but I didn't say anything else. I just said, "Thank you for everything you've done for like dance music." And he was just like, you know, like he just like nodded his head and like shook my hand and smiled. And then I just walked away. Just like, you know, when you meet a king and you're like, you do your bow, take a bow, and you go, "Now take 2 steps back, bow again, and turn 300, a perfect 90 degrees."
Cool.
That's like from a scene from The Last Samurai. Like they meet the emperor in Japan, and that's how you should meet the emperor. You know.
Did you snap a flick with him?
No, but I did give him my wet wipes.
Yeah, over the toilet. Yeah,
over the toilet. Yeah.
And that's better than any photo we'll ever do.
Yeah, and then dropped him off in the airplane and be like, "Hey, wipe your ass with this."
And now he's sponsoring the show as well.
Yeah, he's sponsoring the show.
Tony, we love you.
So many sponsors.
Hey, Tony.
You know who's not sponsoring the show is Rode. Yeah, why don't you sponsor us already, okay? We're using all Rode gear. Fucking bitches.
Made in Australia.
Made in Australia, that's right.
Rode's the equipment.
Yeah, the equipment we're using, yeah. Not Function One, but, Rode. Rode will do.
And this is a pretty sweet setup. I think they've done a good job.
Mate,
Thanks, Rod.
we did it all for you. Just for you, baby. Just for the nookie. The Red Moon nookie. Well, man, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here and here with us at Surreal Melbourne Studio or Studios.
It can be either or, man. It's surreal. It's a landscape that's unlike anything you've ever seen.
It's red. It's Red Moon, baby.
It's better than contact juggling on a Thursday night.
That sounds like a vibe.
Yeah, actually sounds pretty
totally
sweet.
get
What is
that.
contact?
Oh, have you seen the contact juggling when the guys they keep it there and they kind of roll it up and down their
crystal ball.
arms? Yeah.
Man, I saw someone do
And
that
they
in
make it look,
Thailand. Crazy stuff.
yeah, it's actually sick. When it's done well, it's really mint. It's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
totally. When it's not done well, it just looks like
A piece of shit. Whoa.
Well, man, listen, it's been an absolute...
Trying to wrap this up. I'm sorry. We should get this little side
going.
wrap it up, B. From Dave Chappelle's. Gotta wrap it up, B. I'm kidding, man.
No, I know. I love that part of Dave. Yeah.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
So, man,
Wrap it up.
we always try to open up the dance floor. No, we try to open up the floor here for a non-shameless plug-in. So any things that are coming up in the future that you want to sort of mention? I mean, I don't exactly know when this is going to come out. Hopefully it doesn't come out by the time you actually do the event, but before we wrap it up, let's just take this down with one question: is where are you going and what's coming next with the crew?
there is a lot of really, really exciting things coming up. I can't, as much as I want to, I can't say.
Spill the beans.
I can't say it yet.
Just give me a slither, baby.
That's a perfect slither. A grade slither. A grade. Yeah, that is absolutely. Yeah,
That is better than
I'd almost say if you want to get a little bit more nerdy with it, S class. S class slither.
But yeah, no, like there's a lot of really exciting things coming up, and we will release that in due course.
Hot back summer.
Hot back summer, baby.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Summer is coming.
But I've got
Moon
the
of the
return of Renegade December 4th.
Oh, sick.
Is that with Smoke?
That is with Smilk.
Smoke on the lineup.
Yeah. And then we have our first Red Moon Renegade. We do 2 of them a year. Real special. That's coming up Jan 28th.
What's special about that one? Is that just the collaboration?
It's just a night where we just get like only the Red Moon resis on. Pretty much it's just like kind of like a Red Moon party, but just like on a Renegade night.
Yeah.
It's just for some reason it's just like it just hits different.
Yeah.
You know?
Double R.
Double R.
Yeah.
And Sixth Sense is really picking up, and we've got our events again for next year, and we've got a real big announcement to make with that as well.
So big that you'd
Yeah, they're
like
booking
to
me as their next
share it.
headliner. Yeah.
So big that you'd like to share it with us.
I can't.
Why don't you share it?
It'll happen soon though.
That's all right, Blaney. We'll start our own thing called 7 Cents. It's the Blay effect.
It's got Bruce Willis's son in it.
It's like the where are they now type thing.
Yeah. Die hard again. Die hard one more time. God damn it. Do you not die already? It's fucking Dave Willis. Is that his son's name? I don't know.
Something, but man, it sounds awesome. It sounds like there's a lot to look forward to, which is absolutely mint.
Yeah, it's, to tell you the truth, man, going from like not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with the event industry to like
full opening up. Yeah.
to opening up like and more. is like,
Yeah, no capacity restrictions is the one, isn't it?
yeah. But it's just like, I don't know, like it's kind of, it's almost like we're being rewarded for like being able to do fuck all for 2 years.
Yeah, our patience.
Yeah.
Because it was running thin, you know. There was no light at the end of the. I've like completely just not gonna happen.
Yeah, and here we are,
and we're rushing.
It's happening.
You know, like there's this feel. Do you feel like there's this need or urge or a rush to actually just get things now moving so quick?
Kind of like, I definitely got slapped in the face with anxiety. Hey, it was like, as soon as the announcement was made, like as soon as we got our roadmap out, it's like all the responsibility like kind of sunk in again, and I was just like, it's not that I wasn't ready for it, but I just wasn't expecting it, and it was just like,
so soon.
Okay, like now I have to like actually like pick it back up again, you know?
Yeah.
But to be honest, like, man, I'm in this for like the long game, so I'm in no rush. Hey, like,
yeah,
taking it easy, like focusing on, you know, step by step and building everything back up again.
Yeah.
And just let that happen organically. Like, I don't want to force anything. There's also so much noise currently going around in the industry at the moment. Just like everyone I feel is like
hard to distinguish.
Competing against, just not in like in a bad way. It's not like that's their intention to like do it, but it's just like with everything coming back and all the postponed events, it's like
availability.
I was going to say that the postponed events is a big one.
It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy because now there's all these clashes. Like every weekend from now until Christmas, there's like 3 things on.
Packed out. Man, I even had to hit up like Psytrance promoters to be like, hey, no, I'm sorry, but I've like booked these guys.
Yeah,
You know, and like thankfully, like, you know who you are, but these guys are like fucking legends, and like they understood it. But I never would have thought a million years that like me running techno parties, I'd have to call up like a Psytrance promoter and be like, hey, by the way, like just letting you know we're booking like these. Well, it was like a postponed event anyway, but it was just like, you know, just gotta let them know it's crazy. There's time to be alive.
I think it's because there's so much of the crowd now intersects. You know, there's so much cross pollination going on that so many people who go to this event or this sound, you know, will go out to that event. And this is something that came up in a conversation with the Hard Candy boys, is that, you know, they used to go out to raves before these subgenres were even very well developed, and you would listen to jungle and hard house and Detroit techno or Detroit house or whatever it is, hard house, or, you know, drum and bass, well, more jungle, but, you know, and drum and bass, but you'd listen to so many of these genres that it didn't matter. Everyone liked everything, you know, it was just rave music. But now it's like, it is separate. All these subgenres are the separate thing, but people still go to both, you know.
People haven't changed.
You know, we've just...
Which is great, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that just shows the real strength of the community.
Yeah, just dance culture in general, man. Like I think this is what binds us, the spice.
I honestly think it has the ability to bridge gaps.
It has
like
already.
It already has,
100%.
But like in even greater lengths.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, I'm just couldn't be more about it. Couldn't be more about it if I tried. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I just think that, like, you know, all of those sentiments, it's just, I try and pour it out in every fiber of my being.
Yeah. You're a very fibrous person.
Thanks. Appreciate it,
babe. No, true, man. That's very true. Well, my man, Dan Abel, Red Moon Tribe, 6th Sense, thank you for being with us here today and
thank you for having me.
Showcasing your collective and your. We haven't asked you who are the rosters, who are in the rosters, but roster of artists.
You can look it up though on
SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, or just hit me up.
Dan Abel on Facebook. And Dan, you guys also have the Redcast. What is it called? Red Moon Cast?
Red Moon Sessions.
Red Moon Sessions. So if our listeners want to get acquainted with some of your artists and people that you like to showcase, just go to your SoundCloud and listen to it there.
Hit it up.
Hit it there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Waffles.
I'm the Blind.
And we got Dan Abel here in the studio, and you're listening to Surreal Melbourne. We'll see you soon.
Absolute pleasure.